Hi guys, welcome to this video where I am going to analyze this patch and I will demonstrate also what it can do. So my idea is to talk about the architecture of this patch. So if you want to modify it or use it, you have at least a global understanding on how it works, and then you can customize it for your own expressive artistic needs. So first of all, what can you do with this patch? So you have many presets already saved in here, and it can give very let's say diverse but the idea is that you have these 3D shapes that look as a particle system with crazy forces. Yeah, so and you can press this button, which I named pulse, and then it is reacted. So you can use it also as a audio reactive patch. So let's demonstrate that. I will start. Now this button is being activated by audio peaks, and of course you can change the presets. So the idea was to create a very expressive shape, expressive movements that will react to the music. See? And a very chaotic world of dust, of particles. Yeah, so for me it was inspired in, let's say, very intense emotions. So how could I express that? It was through this patch. But the idea is that you can also modify it and use it for your own expressive needs. So, okay, first of all, let's stop rendering and let's explain the architecture of this patch. This patch is structured modularly. Yeah, so for pedagogical purposes, I put colors in here, so a different color for each module. So each module has a different function. So the first main function in the patch, so for not confusion, this is not functions as in a programming language. These are functions for this rendering result. So the first module here, I named it post effects. So this here inside of this patch, you have the jit.world, and it's the object responsible for rendering the main image that you are being it's been displayed in this window. Then here at the right you have this module named Audio Analysis Peaks. So I am running here an audio analysis to detect amplitude peaks. And then I am given the information of these peaks as bangs, which are actually activating this bottom. So the third module in here is this metrics texture generator. in this module, I am generating this image. If you are familiarized with Jitter already, so you might guess that inside this module there's a jit.geom.bfj object, which is an object that actually is creating these textures according to these formulas. So this is named procedural basis function texture generator. So in simple words, you're generating images by formulas, okay? And you can vary some parameters. So the idea is that this image that I am synthesizing here in this module will actually modulate the 3D parameters of this 3D shape. Let's put it. And so this is called vertex displacement. I will go into that later. So for now, just mind that this image that is here is actually modulating the 3D shape, which is a sphere. So the sphere is being deformated according to this image, and this is why when I change the formula in here, then you can see the shape moving differently. Yes, and this image also will determine the color of the resulting image. This is why if I activate the bottom color in here, you can see these colors that I see in here somehow in this shape. So for example, if I augment it, let's make it green and white, so you can see green and white here and so on. And for each function we have different colors, and if you don't like these colors, you can modulate the colors here or just make it black and white. Okay, so I am creating the image here that will later modulate the 3D shape. So, and where is this 3D shape being created? Is in this module, which is named geom process. So these are the geometry process. So in here, in this yellow module, I am generating a 3D shape, and then I am applying 3D effects to this shape, let's say that way. And actually, yes, as you might guess, here inside there are the jit.geom objects. So I will show you the later what there is inside this, and I will explain how it works. For now, let's get just the global view, the big picture of this patch. And then after generating the 3D shape and after let's say deformating this shape or making the vertex displays. What is that vertex displays? So I am calling vertex for every single point that you see here. The 3D shape is made by points. So these are vertices, and each vertex is being displaced by the information of this image. So I know it could be abstract if you are not familiarized with that 3D language, but for now you can understand that number one, I am rendering my image in here. Actually, it's the last process, but okay, I'm displaying an image in my screen. I'm generating an image that is deformating a 3D shape. And I also applying forces to displace. I am already displacing before that with looks like waves and twists, because I am using those objects to cause these movements. And then here I am applying some matrix operations. And finally, I am drawing the shape. So I am passing this information about the vertex position, where each single point is placed in a 3D plane. And then here in the green module at the end, I am drawing the shape. So that means that, for example, I can change the point size, and I can make it look as a, for example, squares or circles or just small points. See? And also the drawing mode. The drawing mode involves, for example, just drawing just with lines. And by the way, I can change the width of these lines. So I set a limit. You cannot go very, very width, but you can do it when you will understand how it works. Or combinations of point and lines. The speed of the turns that you're doing in here. Okay, yeah. So, and yeah, you have for this 3D scene lights and a camera here. And this other important module in here, which is the audio analysis peaks, where I am running the audio analysis to, at the end, give it to the result and modulate some parameters. When I press this pulse button, a lot of things are going on because this button is connected to many parameters. So now let's go in detail. Oh yeah, and you have your preset system. So you have this patete storage object, which connects to some parameters. And if you know patete storage, you must know that if you double click over this object, you will see all the parameters that it will remember. And then you will see that, for example, this is these objects are actually being detected by patete storage because I attached to them this parameter patete object with the name of the parameter. If you want more parameters to be remembered by it, so all you need to do is give it a name and just a particular name and connect it to the object that you want to be remembered. So let's look inside each module. So for example, here in rendering, on the jit.world, and here, by the way, I am rendering at 4K resolution. And then let's look at what is inside my audio analysis. So it's just a peak detection. The first thing I am doing is just converting a stereo signal into mono. And then I am normalizing that in the range from 0 to 1 and releasing the result analysis as floating points at this interval of milliseconds. And then here I have this threshold. So every time I get a value which is above this threshold, I am releasing a bang. And I can change this threshold by this control in here. So, okay, let's see what is inside this matrix texture generator. So, as I said before, here, okay, let's see the big picture of it. So maybe zoom out. Yeah. And I have this is the main object of this softpatcher, the jit.geom BFG. So this is the procedural basis function texture generator. And this object is generating the image that will later displace the vertex of the 3D shape. And as you can see, all what is around this object, it's in function of this. So this is the main object in here. I am making sure the resulting texture, it's been upgraded to these dimensions, 2000 by 2000. If you are short in GPU resources, then you will be interested in decreasing this. And in that case, I then advise to change this filter node to linear. And then even if your resolution is low, then for the final texture, you will have actually it will interpolate the values. Okay, then this texture goes to two places. The first is I am converting this texture into a matrix, because in order to make the vertex displacement operations, I need a matrix. But I am using this async object, so I won't interfere with the OpenGL pipeline. And so this is another parallel process, because remember, first you need to do all your CPU operations and then GPU. But in this case, I'm going to GPU and then CPU again. So this is why I need to use this object, so I won't interfere with the main OpenGL pipeline. Then I am taking this texture also out, because I am giving this 3D shape this texture, yeah, so it can be colored, or yeah. So the mesh which is drawing this texture, drawing this shape, receives as texture what I am getting out from here. So let's close this now. Up, and now you have, after that, this geom process. So remember, this image is converted into texture, and I am using those values as vertex positions. And so this will be later used by this object to displace the vertex. And here I am taking this out, boom, 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 here. So this mesh in here will use these textures to be displayed over the shape, yeah, over the entire shape. So, but now let's see how the geometry is created. Let's go to geom process in here, up. And I have here a chain of processes. So these jit.geom objects run on the CPU. And so we are finding this chain of procedures in here. So the first I am doing here is to create a 3D shape with this jit.geom.shape. So these geom objects that were released in Max 9, they're using this new type, which is called geom. And so this data is running through these red cables. And so all the parameters, these arguments, these attributes that here are arguments in this object, I am giving them values so my GPU won't explode. For example, ICO divisions will determine it somehow the amount of vertex in your shape, right? So so make sure if you modify that. So this is something you can modify. If you put 2, for example, you will see that I will decrease the number of vertex. See, if I put 1, let's see. Oh, so I don't advise if you are short in GPU. And how can you know if your GPU is not powerful enough? You go to the main patch and see this number in here, which this is the FPS, frames per second. So if you increase this number in here, let's say something really low, like it, see, this is too much information. It's now breaking. So if you put 6, so I place this number according to this Macintosh computer, which is an M1 processor. So 4 is still smooth. So, but just don't put this number really high, because you could, just adapt to your GPU capabilities. So I am creating this a sphere. So I have an idea. Let's bypass what is these objects in here. What is so awesome about them is that you can bypass them. So if you bypass, I am bypassing the objects that are after that. So this is the shape that I am creating here. It's the first process. Then subdivisions, what is it doing? If I press 2, you see less number of vertex and number 3 plus, and I say careful, no more than 3 in my case because of my GPU capabilities. Then you have this jit.geom X form, and this allows me to create to actually scale the shape. Here I am going up to 1.1. This is what I chose, but of course, if you want it to be even bigger, you can increase this number in here. And then you have this cool object. Let me disconnect that, which is waves. So I will deactivate the bypass so you can see the effect of waves in here. So waves, look at this. You can see a wave going back and forward. This is sphere. So waves is already displacing the vertex. And for waves, you can modify the frequency. How fast is it running? Sorry. Actually, it's the frequency, then the amplitude. These are the parameters, have the same meaning than in physics or sound synthesis. And then you can modify the direction. So this force, is it taking, let me put, over the axis of X or Y or Z. Okay, we'll reconnect that as the original patch. And those guys were up. So here you can see more the effect of frequency. So how many waves are actually being drawn on the shape. So if I increase that, let's say, let's decrease actually to 2 and make the amplitude bigger, so you can see 2 big waves like here, boom, boom. So actually there are 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and okay, whoop. So this is how this is the amplitude of the wave actually, and so more waves, more wavy. It's like this. And the offset is actually, the movement of the waves. Now, let's bypass the waves and let's deactivate the bypass of the twists to see only the twist effect. So the twist will change, actually, it's like you're squeezing. Actually, like, imagine the the sphere is like a rag, and you're actually squeezing it. So this is what is going on when you change the angle parameter. See, and when you deactivate the bypass of both, then you can start seeing chaotic stuff happening actually in here. See? And okay, let me bypass those and show you what is going on with the third jit.geom effect, which is display. So it takes this input here, which is the sphere. So remember, it already has been like modified by this other two, but in here, okay, I'm showing you just the sphere as it is. And then I'm receiving here actually the image. The image is coming here by inlet 5. Remember this image that I am generating in here? It's coming from here to the last inlet. And so when I am passing here the image, boom, boom, boom. Okay, here it comes as a matrix data type, and here I am converting this matrix into a geom with this object, which is called jit.geom, to geom and from a matrix. And then I can perform the vertex displacement. So let me show you the result if I deactivate bypass, and there you go. So this thing in here is, you can see the effect of this image displacing the vertex. So the whiter they are, so there will be more displacement. The black, so less displacement. So let me change the formulas here. So for example, this. See, and now when I am, for example, I am modulating here the zoom, so you can see this image modulating this thing, see? So this is what I used in my Alien Fetus Max for Life device, or the same technique for other patches that I've released before. So it was only that, but when I am to this vertex displacement, I am adding also these other two effects, waves, and then bypass, and then twist. Then also you have this chaotic stuff, which I think is really cool, and it seems pretty natural. I mean, like something I don't know, like a tornado, or because I guess it's the effect of the waves and twist. So cool. Okay, and then after this jit.geom displays, you have this jit.geom xform to change again the overall scale of the shape. And so I did that in order to keep the shape in the screen, actually in this context window. And finally, I am converting this at the end of the chain. I am converting this geom data type into jit.geom to points, because I will give that to a mesh. So the mesh is accepting a matrix. So why am I transforming jit.geom, this red into green, into a matrix? Because here the goal is to arrive here where I am actually drawing the shape, where I have a mesh. So the main object in here is this mesh, which is at the bottom. And so let me, okay, lots of cables. So this is mesh, and it's been it's a lot of attributes that's been actually define it as arguments here because I am interested in the very particular configuration. And so this mesh, which is drawing the shape, has a material, a jit.geom material. And why did I use jit.geom material and not jit.geom PBR, which is another object to materials? Because if I am using jit material, then I can draw in points and combinations in points and lines. Other draw modes that are not possible to get when you are using the PBR material. So, and then, well, here I have this anim drive, which is causing the direction of the spinning. See, the spinning of this mesh, and this is connected actually to the audio reactions. See, so the audio reactions is spinning in random numbers. So this URN actually are spinning directions. Is unique random number. This is why this object is named like that. Unique random number have 6 different possibilities, which are these ones, and these ones means directions of rotation over the 3 axes X, Y, and Z. Assuming you know already that, guys. I know this is kind of advanced lesson for those who do not know Jitter. If you want to learn Jitter, there's a lot of very nice resources out online, and I have also a beginner's course for Jitter. And also, of course, the Cycling 74 tutorials for Geom are really clear. And okay, so I have also this path test already mentioned that. So what if you want to explore this patch without touching anything, just the presets, but you're without getting into the soft patchers, but imagine that you are modifying these things. So these parameters, those attributes, and you say, okay, I will start from here, and I will just do that, and probably overall scale, boom. You say, okay, I like that. I want to save that. So what you should do is you select an empty case, and in a way, if there's not, okay, you do this larger. Select an empty one, and you press Command Shift and click, or Command and click, I think. And okay, it's saved, but it might be lost because you need to write it into this file. So you press write, and by the way, you need to locate where you have saved this file that comes with the patch if you download it. And when you download it, you will rewrite the file. If you don't want to rewrite the file, I advise then that you name it differently. For example, this is called Dust01. You can write Dust02, and then you save it. But next time when you will open the patch, you will need to write read and then look for that specific file. Well, I am assuming you probably know how to use this path storage system. So the idea here is that you can really have fun with using. I know these explanations were probably advanced, but the idea is that you can really have fun with this patch that I really enjoyed creating. And okay, I'm curious about what can you get with that. And you can also experiment with that, with those geom objects. Like, what if you change the order of them? What if, for example, you can add others, explore what other options are available. If you type jit.geom, and then here you can see a list of available objects, and just for example, you can for example, this is smooth, and then you go to the health file and you explore and see what it can do. And yeah, and then you can integrate them here in this change of substitute, because you don't want to overload your GPU and CPU usage. So okay guys, so that was a demo about how can you use this, and very nice possibilities also if you send this output into other software as Avenue, Resolume, and then you can process this with other video effects in other applications. So this is actually part of what I am going to do in my next concert, which will be November 26 in Leipzig, 2025. Yeah. I will give you the right dates in the next video. And I will leave the download link of this patch in the description of this video. So, well, happy patching, and see you in the next video. Have fun and keep creative. Bye bye.